So you can see this is the method of treatment of water which we can employ. It means which we can employ to kill the bacteria, to kill the pathogenic microorganism. That is nothing but disinfection. Okay, so yeah, the killing of bacteria is called. It means the killing of pathogenic bacteria is called as disinfection, and generally the killing of microorganism will come under sterilization. Okay, so generally we, for domestic purposes, we will boil the water for sterilize. It means to sterilize it or to kill the bacteria. Understand? So this is nothing but disinfection is nothing but to kill the harmful bacteria is nothing but disinfection. Okay, now. And killing of any type of bacteria or any kind of microorganism will be called as the sterilization. Okay, now. So the boiling kills the germs. It means microorganisms which are responsible for cholera and typhoid within few minutes. Okay, now. And for disinfection, not only boiling, we can also go for different methods are there, like chlorination, ozonization, ultraviolet ray method, also application of silver, iodine, bromine, etc. Okay, now, so these are the most commonly used methods throughout the world to kill the bacteria. Okay, now, so we discuss about each and every method in this class. You see, these are the different disinfecting materials. Understand? So the disinfecting material should be harmless and it should be unobjectionable to the consumer. It means if the water bacteria may be there. Okay, so to kill that bacteria, we use these materials. It means we add these materials to the water. Okay, so the material can kill the bacteria and the water will be free from that bacteria. It means the water will be free from that microorganism. Okay, but the material what we are adding to water to kill the bacteria, it should not cause any harm or it should not be unobjectionable to the consumer, means to the people who are drinking that water. Okay, so that is its primary means a primary what understand. So primary objective we can call it as. Okay, and it should be able to retain residual disinfecting effect for a long period. Understand? It means if you are adding bleaching powder or chlorine to water, it will disinfect it. It will kill all the bacteria present in water. Okay, no, but within after few minutes or after few hours, its power may be gone. It means its existence may be gone from the water. Okay, so then again the microorganism starts surviving in it. It means they may exist again in that water. Okay, so it should not be happen like that. Okay, so it means the disinfectant should work within that water or should be exist within that water for a longer period. Okay, so then we can, it means we can safely supply that water to the consumer. It means since when we are adding disinfectant to the end of the water supply scheme, it means where the supply, it means where the scheme is water side providing water to the consumer. It means at the end of the water supply scheme. Okay, so it means till that end of the water supply scheme, the disinfectant should be there and it should work and the bacteria should not be there in water. Okay, so these are the primary objectives of a disinfectant. Okay, and if any disinfectant, it means possesses these two properties, it means which can exist for a longer time in the water and which can be harmless to human beings and unobjectionable to human beings. Okay, so then that disinfectant we can take and we can use it as a treatment material. It means we can use it for treating water. Okay, now so then the common materials for disinfection are chlorine, ozone, lime, silver, iodine, bromine, ultraviolet rays. Okay, now so these are the different substances which we can add to water or which we can apply to water. Okay, now so then the bacteria or the microorganism present in water will be died off. Okay, now so that's it. These are the different commonly used disinfecting materials. Okay, now so now we will see about each and every one of these, how they work and how to apply them and how they work in water and how they kill the bacteria and at what extent, up to what extent the water will be safe and potable for the human beings. Okay, now so that's what we are going to discuss here. Okay, now so first thing is that the most commonly used substance as a disinfectant is chlorine. Okay, so throughout the world, chlorine is accepted as a disinfecting material. Okay, so you can see the application of chlorine to water is nothing but chlorination. It means simply the application of coagulant to water is nothing but coagulation. In the same way, the application or the addition of chlorine to water is nothing but chlorination. Understand? So for mostly for water, if you take a 1 liter of water, to that 1 liter, not more than 1 milligram of chlorine to be added. Okay? And the chlorine we can add in, it means the chlorine, it is available in the form of liquid, in the form of gas, also in the form of powder or solid, or in the form of particle. Okay, na? So in all the three states of matter, the chlorine will be available, and we can add any state of chlorine to the water to kill bacteria or for the disinfecting purpose. Understand? So guys, are you able to understand or no? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible to all of you? Okay. If you have any trouble or if you have any doubts, you can ask me, or you can type in chat box. Okay, now. Okay, now so the dose applied is generally less than 1 milligram per liter. It means if 1 liter of water is given to you, in that the how much quantity of chlorine to be added, it maximum it should be 1 milligram, and less than 1 milligram quantity of chlorine we can add. Okay, now so that's it. That much is enough. Okay, and most of the chlorine is available in the form of liquid, that is liquid chlorine. Also the chlorine also available in the form of gas. Okay, now, and also it is available in the form of powder or in the form of solid, that is called as the bleaching powder. Okay, now, so any state of chlorine or any form of chlorine we can add to water for the disinfection. It means to kill the bacteria present in water. Okay, now, and one more thing, the amount of chlorine to be added to water, it depends of, it is nothing but a chlorine demand. Okay, now it means excess quantity, excess amount of chlorine we should not add to water. It causes some unobjectionable smell and unwanted disturbances to human beings. Okay, so excess chlorine should not be added, and deficient chlorine also we should not add, because if the sufficient quantity of chlorine we were not adding to water, it means that the completely the bacteria present in water won't die. Understand? So that's why we have to add exact quantity of chlorine. Okay, now so that is nothing but chlorine demand. Okay, now so that chlorine demand we can calculate by, it means first of all you take some 1 liter of water. Okay, and to that 1 liter of water you add some chlorine. It means mostly 1 milligram of chlorine you can add to that water. Okay, now, and after 20 minutes you can determine or you can measure that how much quantity of chlorine is remains in that water. Okay, now, so then initially how much we have been added, 1 milligram. Okay, now, so after 20 minutes how much will be remain? Maybe half milligram may be available. Okay, now, so then the difference you have to take. Okay, now, so initially how much you have been added, and after 20 minutes how much was remained in the water. Okay, now, so you can take the difference between those two chlorines. Okay, now, and the difference will be the chlorine demand. It means to kill the bacteria present in water, that much of chlorine was used. Understand? So that is nothing but chlorine demand. You can see here, chlorine demand is the difference between the amount of chlorine added and the amount of chlorine remaining at the end of the contact period of 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, now, so like that we can calculate the chlorine demand. Okay, now, so for one trial, if you are unable to find out the exact quantity, exact chlorine demand, you can also do it for two to three times. Okay, now, so then we can able to find out the exact quantity of chlorine to be added to that water. Okay, now, so then we can employ or we can add that much of chlorine to the entire water supply scheme. Okay, now, so chlorination possesses great disinfecting powers, and it is universally accepted method for public water supplies. We have been discussed already. Okay, now, so then chlorine may be available in any state of matter, like in the form of powder or in the form of gas or in the form of liquid. The chlorine is available. Okay, now, so and after adding chlorine to water, okay, now, so it will produce hypochlorous acid in water and hypochlorite ion in water. Okay, so the combination of these two substances, like these two, hypochlorous acid and hypochlorite ion, okay, so will be called as the, it means the HOCl and OCl together is known as the free available chlorine in water. Okay, so this thing we have to calculate. Okay, so in our laboratory we have equipment. This is a titration method. Okay, so in our laboratory we can measure if a water is given to you and some quantity of chlorine is given to you. After adding that quantity of chlorine to that water, okay, so after 10 to 20 minutes, how much the quantity of free available chlorine is available and how much quantity of combined available chlorine is there, that thing we can measure. Okay, and what the chlorine demand also we can determine. in our laboratory. Okay, now, so if ammonia is present in water, you can see if ammonia is present in water, the chlorine reacts to ammonia and then it will form chloramines. It means there are three types of chloramines will be formed when chlorine reacts with ammonia. Okay, now, so monochloramine, dichloramine, and trichloramine. Okay, now, so the existence of these three forms of chloramines will be called as the combined available chlorine. Understand? See, if ammonia is not present in the water, such chloramines won't form and there won't be any combined available chlorine. Okay, now. But anyhow, if chlorine is added to water, immediately it will produce some quantity of hypochlorous acid and some number of hypochlorite ions. Okay, now, so combined that thing will be called as the free available chlorine, and when only ammonia present in water, then only the combined available chlorine will be exist in water. Okay, now, so anyhow, these resulting chlorine compounds in water, therefore, with certain enzymes in the bacterial wall forming a toxic chlorocompounds, thus destroying the bacteria completely. Understand? So anyhow, these compounds what they formed or what they produced in water. Okay, now, so combined they can kill the bacteria. Okay, now, so this is the process what is happening in water after adding chlorine to that. Understand? It means once we have to add chlorine to the water, first of all we have to calculate the chlorine demand. It means how much quantity of chlorine to be added to the available quantity of water. After that, after adding chlorine, hypochlorite ions will be formed, hypochlorous acid will be formed, and if ammonia is there, these three types of chloramines will be formed: monochloramine, dichloramine, and trichloramine. Understand? So, and after that, these substances will kill bacteria. These substances will kill microorganisms present in water. That's it. Okay, now, so this is the mechanism of chlorination. Okay, now, so these resulting chlorine compounds in water, therefore, with certain enzymes in the bacterial wall, and then they form some toxic compounds within the wall of the bacteria or within the enzymes of the bacteria, and then they destroy the bacteria. It means they will kill the bacteria completely. Okay, now, so the effect of chlorine as disinfectant depends upon contact period and the concentration of chlorine in water. Yeah, already we have been discussed now. Okay, so mostly for 10 to 20 minutes the contact period should be there. Okay, it means after adding chlorine to water, at least for 20 minutes it should be retained inside a tank. Okay, so immediately we should not supply. We should not allow that water to pass or to leave the tank. Understand? So at least for 10 to 20 minutes some contact period should be there. After that 10 to 20 minutes we can, it means the entire that bacteria will be killed. Okay, so that's why that contact period, the calculation of the contact period is the most important thing. Okay, the killing power of disinfectant, not only chlorine. Okay, so any disinfectant is proportional to the product of contact period and the chlorine concentration. Okay, so this thing you can remember here. Okay, so the killing power of the chlorine, it depends upon the contact period and also the concentration of chlorine present in the water. It means how much quantity we are adding and its concentration in water. Okay, so it means if excess quantity of chlorine is there, anyhow its power will be increased, but it can cause some unobjectionable unobjectionable feelings to human beings that who are consuming that water. Okay, now the factors affecting chlorination are pH of the water, water temperature, and residual chlorine in the form of free available or combined available chlorine. Okay, now so these three things will affect the what to say chlorination. It means how much quantity of chlorine to be added. Okay, now so that depends upon the pH of the water, what is the temperature of the water, and the residual chlorine. It means how much quantity of free available chlorine is there in water and how much quantity of combined available chlorine is there. Okay, now it means the combination of these two free available chlorine and combined available chlorine will be combinedly called as the residual chlorine. Okay, now so we can also measure residual chlorine. Next, one more important thing we should know, that the characteristics of the chlorine. Okay, now, so this is the important thing. Most of this question will come for 2 to 3 marks, 2 marks or 3 marks. Okay, now, so you can see most important. Only what to say that its weight will be 2.5 times heavier than the weight of the air, and it is in greenish yellow color. And when it is compressed, the chlorine gas can undergo, it means it can undergo in the form of liquid state. Okay, and when liquid chlorine drawn in cylinder, it changes into gas at the temperature inside the cylinder falls. Understand? It means we can compress. It means we can convert the chlorine. If it is gas into liquid, we can convert, and if it is liquid, we can convert it into gas. Okay, and also we can convert it into in the form of powder, that is called as the bleaching powder. Next application of chlorine. Yeah, chlorine. We can apply chlorine in three forms. In the form of gas, we can apply. Also in the form of liquid, we can apply. Also in the form of powder, like bleaching powder or sodium hypochlorite, we can apply to water to kill the bacteria. Okay, so chlorine can be applied by any of the following methods. Yeah, as a dry chlorine gas, we can apply to water, and as a chlorine liquid or a chlorine solution, we can apply to water, and in the form of powder, like bleaching powder, we can apply to water. Okay, as a dry chlorine gas, it means from the liquid chlorine cylinder, it is applied directly to water. And so by supplying through submerged diffusers, it means directly from the cylinder we can add it to water, or by using some, it means by applying some pressure, we can add it to water. Okay, so this method is unsatisfactory because of improper and it means improper method of application, and also it can cause some corrosion to the pipelines. It means when we use chlorine gas. Okay, and also we can also add chlorine in the form of, it means liquid state chlorine also to water. Okay, so this thing you can see, first of all we have to make liquid chlorine solution. Okay, so then that solution we can add to water. Okay, so then it can act like a disinfectant within the water, and then it will kill the bacteria. Okay, so you can see here, liquid chlorine solution is prepared in a solution feed chlorinator. Yeah, by using chlorinator, okay, we can convert gaseous state chlorine into liquid state chlorine. Okay, by mixing chlorine gas with small quantity of water. Understand? Within a chlorinator, we have to mix chlorine gas along with water. Okay, so then we have to stir up it. Okay, so then we can get the liquid chlorine gas. It means liquid chlorine solution. Okay, so then we can add it to water. Okay, so the chlorine solution is applied to the water. Okay, so then what to say, we can inject it or we can directly add it to water. Okay, so then it will act like a disinfectant. It means it will kill the bacteria. This method is commonly used for waterworks for practice. Yeah. Tell me. Yeah, chlorine solution is applied to the water supply by using water injector through a discharge pipe. Okay, now directly we can mix it within water. Okay, so this method is commonly used in waterworks for practice. Next, we can add chlorine in the form of bleaching powder to water. Okay, so in powder form, chlorine available as two, it means in the form of two substances. One is the bleaching powder. It is the CaOCl twice, and another one is the sodium hypochlorite. Its chemical formula is NaOCl. Okay, so hypochlorates are applied to water by using hypochlorite feeding operators, and bleaching powder is also we can apply. Okay, but it is not that much stable like hypochlorite solution. like sodium hypochlorite solution. Okay, but it loses strength on long storage or exposure. Okay, so that's why mostly hypochlorites will be used. Okay, and for small towns or for small communities where we need to supply water. Okay, so in that cases, for small quantities of water, we can add bleaching powder. Okay, and for where we have to supply water to large cities or to the bigger large colonies. Okay, it means where we need to supply large quantities of water. Okay, so in that case, sodium hypochlorite sodium hypochlorite powder may be used, or liquid state chlorine may be used. Okay, these are the three types of chlorines available in three stages. Okay, so like that we can apply to water. Okay, so as a chlorine gas, as a chlorine liquid, and as a powder form of chlorine, we can add to water. Next one is the chlorine dosage of water. Okay, so this is the most important thing, that how to calculate the chlorine dosage. It means how to calculate the chlorine demand. Okay, so that is the most important thing. Already we have been discussed. Okay, after adding chlorine to water, for 10 to 20 minutes we have to left it. It means we have to take 10 to 20 minutes as a contact period. Okay, so it means after adding chlorine, after 10 to 20 minutes we have to measure the amount of chlorine is available in water. Okay, so then initially how much we have been added to water, and after 10 to 20 minutes how much chlorine is available in that water. Okay, so the difference will be taken as the chlorine demand. Okay, so that much we can add it to water. Okay, so that thing will be taken as a chlorine dosage. Okay, so you can see too little chlorine is ineffective, and too much chlorine causes taste and odors. It means it will be unobjectionable, undesirable to public. Okay, so exact quantity of chlorine to be added. Okay, so then the exact quantity of chlorine is completely involving in the killing of bacteria, and then it won't cause any undesirable things to human beings. Understand? So the amount of chlorine required to be added should be determined, and it can be determined in the laboratory by adding various doses of chlorine to equal proportions of water sample and finding the amount of residual after a contact period of 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, so you can see here chlorine demand. It is the difference between the amount of chlorine added and the amount of chlorine remaining at the end of the contact period of 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, so this is nothing but chlorine demand. Okay, so that chlorine demand we can calculate by using this formula. So minimum dose giving residual of 0.05 minus 0.2 milligram per liter is generally selected. Okay, so generally that much of chlorine will be added to water in general cases. Okay, and even if you want to exactly calculate the how much dose of chlorine to be given to water, okay, so then we can do like that. It means we have to add some, we have to take 1 liter of water, and after that we have to add some chlorine to it. It means 1 milligram of chlorine to it. Okay, after the contact period of 20 minutes, we have to estimate, or we have to determine how much quantity of chlorine was remained after 20 minutes. Okay, so then initially how much were added, and after 20 minutes how much were remained. Okay, so the difference between those two chlorines we have to calculate. Okay, so then that will be taken as the chlorine dosage for water. Okay, so if it is not possible to do, okay, so it means if you don't have time of 20 minutes to do like that, okay, so then we can choose some amount of chlorine as a chlorine dose. Okay, so that thing 0.05 to 0.20 milligram per liter. In between that, any value we can take it as a chlorine demand or chlorine dose. Okay, so chlorine doses can also be calculated with the help of the formula, by using this formula. Okay, so volume of water into dosage divided by 10 lakhs. Okay, now by using this formula also we can calculate the chlorine dosage. Okay, but anyhow, any one of these two methods may not give exact chlorine demand. Okay, but if you have time for 20 minutes, okay, so then we can do this like this. Okay, so chlorine, we have to add 1 milligram of chlorine to 1 liter of water. After 20 minutes we can calculate it, and the difference will be taken. Okay, so that will be called as the chlorine demand. Okay, so this is about chlorination. Till that, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Is it clear to all of you? To all of you, is it clear? Okay. So next, some special methods of chlorination are there. Okay, so they are called as the pre-chlorination and post-chlorination. Two types of chlorination methods are. Okay, so anyhow, you can see here, chlorine is generally applied after all other treatments have been given to water supply. Okay, so that may be called as the post-chlorination. Okay, and the pre-chlorination means if without applying any treatment, initially if you apply chlorine to water, that will be called as the pre-chlorination. Okay, anyhow, before supplying water to the consumers, we have to add chlorine. Okay, so that will be called as the pre-chlorination and post-chlorination. Okay, so there are other special methods of chlorination depend upon the particular purpose. There are pre-chlorination, double chlorination, super chlorination, and breakpoint chlorination. You can see pre-chlorination, it is nothing but application of chlorine before filtration. Okay, so yesterday we have been discussing filtration. What do you mean by filter? What do you understand from filter? Anybody can tell me? We have to recall again and again. Otherwise you will get forget. ఓకేనా, సో చెప్పండి, ఫిల్టర్ అంటే ఏం డిస్కస్ చేసుకున్నాం నిన్న? 18BK 180 102 103 107 అలా ఫిర్ రైజ్ యూర్ హ్యాండ్ 110 13 19 all of you please raise your hand 20 22 22 and 37 only two are raising their hand 13 113 yeah, tell me what do you understand from filter or what do you understand from filtration? Somebody's typed here 125. The process of passing water through the bed of such granular material is called as the filtration. Yeah, that is exact. Okay, so like this I want reply from you people. Okay, so all of you type your response. If you are unable to speak, at least you type. Okay, so I want all of you to involve in the class. Okay, so classroom or online class, whatever it may, is nothing but the place where faculty should work, the place where student and faculty both should work. Okay, so if I am speaking myself, it won't work. It will be waste of time. Or if you keep on listening yourself, it is also waste of time. Okay, so whenever I am asking, you should give some response like this. All of you type here. One 37, 136. Please type here. 106, 102, 129. If you're unable to speak, you can type here. 18BK 105. Okay, that is nothing but filtration. Okay, so why we have to employ filtration? It means the particles which we cannot separate in coagulation and sedimentation. Okay, so yeah, the process in which solid particles are removed. Yeah, solid particles which cannot be removed in sedimentation process. Okay, so to remove them we can use filtration. Understand? So in filtration we can also separate fine particles as well as some amount of, it means some number of bacteria also can get filtered out. Okay, so and the bacteria or the microorganism which is not filtered out in filtration process, then we can go for the disinfection. Okay, so there are different types of disinfection process will be there. It means different types of chlorination methods may be there. Okay, it means initially before sometimes screen is visible not to all of you. Okay, yeah, chlorination. Okay, now so before sedimentation sometimes we need to apply chlorination. It means yeah, before filtration sometimes we need to apply some chlorination. Okay, now so it means like all this thing, it means the chlorination when we need to supply water to the public now, after coagulation and after filtration we need to apply disinfection. It means we need to apply chlorine to water. Okay, now but mostly these different stages of chlorination or different stages of disinfection may be required for industries. Okay, now whenever we need to supply water to industry, okay, now for industries also some specific requirements will be there for water. Okay, now so that will be called as the industrial water treatment. Okay, now and when we need to supply water to public, we have to apply some treatment that is called as the domestic water supply treatment. Okay, now so both are different. Okay, now but the methods of treatment are same. For industries also we need to apply coagulation, sedimentation, filtration, disinfection, and even for public also, it means for domestic purposes also we need to apply the same methods of treatment: sedimentation, coagulation, disinfection, and all those things. Okay, but when we need to supply water to industries, okay, so there the industries may need some extra, some special requirements. Okay, so that thing industrial water treatment we will discuss later. Okay, so first we discuss about the domestic water treatment. Okay, so there are different special methods of chlorination are available. Okay, so like there you can see pre-chlorination, double chlorination, super chlorination, breakpoint chlorination. Pre-chlorination is the application of chlorine preceding filtration. Okay, it means before the filtration, it means before sand filter, sometimes the chlorination may be needed. Okay, so that is called as the pre-chlorination. Okay, so either it is added to pipelines. It means when the water is flowing through pipelines, at the time also we can add some chlorine to that water, or within a basin or within a tank also we can add chlorine to that water. So anyhow, before filtration, if you add chlorine to water, that is called as the pre-chlorination. Okay, it means it will reduce the some load of the bacteria upon the filter bed. Okay, so for that purpose, sometimes we may need pre-chlorination. Okay, now double chlorination, and sometimes we need to apply disinfectants, or we need to apply chlorine to water for 2 times. Means before filtration and after filtration. Okay, or before sedimentation and after filtration. Okay, so that kind of chlorination will be called as the double chlorination. Okay, you can see double chlorination is the application of chlorine at 2 points in the treatment process. Okay, so that is called as the double chlorination. It includes pre-chlorination before filtration and post-chlorination after filtration. Okay, sometimes before filtration, not before filtration, sometimes we need to apply chlorine to water even before sedimentation. Okay, so before sedimentation we need to apply chlorine. After that we send that water to sedimentation. After that we send that water to filtration, and after that again we send that water to disinfection. It means again we need to add chlorine. Okay, so like that. Okay, so it depends upon the availability of bacteria present in it, and availability, it means also depend upon the purpose. For what purpose we are treating that water, either to send to industries or either to send to public. Okay, or either to send it to some other purpose. It means some other factories or some other commercial purposes. Okay, so it depends upon the purpose, or even sometimes we need to send water to laboratories. Okay, so in that case, it means in that case we need to have distilled water. Okay, so for that purpose we need to employ chlorination more than 2 times. Okay, so that's it. Okay, it includes pre-chlorination before filtration or before sedimentation, and also after filtration. Anyhow, we have to send that water for disinfection. Okay, so that kind of treatment will be called as the double chlorination. Okay, now advantages of double chlorination are: it will decrease the load of microorganisms and filters. Also, it will give some greater efficiency in the removal of bacteria, and also it will control the algae and slimy growths. It means some slim growths within the clarifiers and filters. Clarifier is nothing but sedimentation tank. Okay, it means the tank in which we retain water for sedimentation, that is called as the clarifier, also called as the sedimentation tank. And filter is nothing but the tank in which we keep filter bed or granular material like sand and gravel, and through which we allow water to pass through it. Okay, so that is called as the filter. Filter is nothing but the entire equipment or the entire unit is called as the filter. And within that filter, we place granular material and we will allow water to pass through it. Okay, now. These are the advantages of double chlorination. And the next one important one is that breakpoint chlorination. You can see it is also called as the free residual chlorination. Okay, so it involves the addition of sufficient chlorine to oxide all the organic matter. It reduces substances and free ammonia in raw water. Understand? So it leaves free residual chlorine, which possesses strong disinfecting action against the pathogens. Understand? So this is highly important for breakpoint chlorination. Here you can see what is breakpoint. You will understand from this what is breakpoint chlorination. Okay, so you can see here. This is the graph. In this graph, different points are there. A, and after some rise, B point is there, and after B it is falling down. This is C, and after that again it is increasing. At the end it will be D. Okay, so you can see different stages are there. A, B, C, D. Okay, so you can see it is observed that the applied chlorine to water, the reactions are marked in this graph. Okay, as you can see, first of all we will add chlorine to water. Okay, so after that what will happen after adding chlorine? Hypochlorous acid and hypochlorous ions will be formed. Okay, so this thing, the two things will be called as the free available chlorine. And even after that, if ammonia present in water, three types of chloramines will be produced in water. Okay, and that chloramines will be called as the combined available chlorine in water. Understand? So, okay, so this free available chlorine and this combined available chlorine will kill the bacteria. Understand? Directly the chlorine won't kill bacteria. After adding chlorine to water, within that water, chloramines, hypochlorite ions, and hypochlorous acid will be formed, and these substances will kill the bacteria. Okay, now so you can see here, first stage A. At A, what will happen? Destruction chlorine may reducing compounds. Okay, it means it can undergo some chemical reaction. Okay, now, and that reducing compounds will be there, and formation of fluoroorganic compounds and chloramines. At B, you can say at B, fluoroorganic compounds and chloramines will be formed. Okay, after adding chlorine, some reaction will be there. Okay, so that will be shown as a rise. Okay, so after that, the combined available chlorine and free available chlorine will be formed at stage B. Okay, and after that, again it is falling up to C. Okay, you can see destruction of fluoroorganic compounds and chloramines. Okay, it means again the fluoroorganic compounds and the chloramines, they will get destructed. Okay, and then formation of free available chlorine at T. Okay, so these are the four stages acting. It means available within the water after adding chlorine. Okay, so the C, what is the C? Destruction of fluoroorganic compounds. Fluoroorganic compounds means hypochlorous acid and hypochlorite ions. Okay, so they will be formed, they will get destructed, and again free available chlorine will be there within the water. Okay, so that C point will be called as the breakpoint chlorination. Okay, so exactly if you are able to predict that the breakpoint chlorination, okay, so then at that breakpoint chlorination, it means that the chlorine will, it means the compounds will be there, na? It means it will be the ultimate or utmost point of the chlorination. And at that point, the compounds like hypochlorous acid, hypochlorite ions, and the chloramines, okay, so they will act with heavy efficiency and actively. It means at the time they will have more activeness. Okay, and also they are more active in killing the bacteria. Okay, so that thing we should have, it means that exact point we should have to predict. Okay, so this thing, it means by observing it in laboratory we can able to predict the breakpoint chlorination. It means exactly we have to observe it at what particular time. means after how many seconds or after how many minutes that exact break point chlorination is happening, that thing we can observe within laboratory. And at that time, if we increase the feeding to the water, means okay na, so then we can able to, it means we can get more efficiency of chlorination. Okay na, so these are the different advantages of prediction of break point chlorination. Okay na, so the break point chlorination is also called as the free residual chlorination. Okay na, so it involves the addition of sufficient chlorine to oxide all the organic matter. Understand? So you can see here exactly that point C, it means break point chlorination, exactly that by observing in laboratory with number of trials now, we can able to predict the time. It means after adding initially after adding chlorine to water, after how many seconds, it means after 100 seconds or 200 seconds or after 3 minutes or 5 minutes, that break point chlorination may be there. Okay, so at that exact time, okay na, so if we add some extra chlorine, okay na, so then it will give some more efficiency, means actively it will kill the bacteria. Okay na, so that is nothing but a break point chlorination. Okay na, so before filtration or before sedimentation, if we add chlorine, it will be called as the pre-chlorination. Okay na, and after treatment, if we add chlorine, it will be called as the post chlorination. Okay na, and before treatment and after treatment, it means in 2 times if you add chlorine, it will be called as the double point chlorination. Okay na, and exactly at this point, means after adding chlorine to water, exactly at this C point, it means where the destruction of chloroorganic compounds and chloramines will take place, exactly at that particular minute or at that particular second. Okay, so if we able to predict, and at that particular second, if we able to add some extra chlorine to water, okay, so that will be called as the break point chlorination. Okay, so then we can kill more bacteria, more number of bacteria. Okay, so that is nothing but a break point chlorination. Okay, so this break point chlorination also reduces the unwanted substances and also free ammonia from water. It will also kill pathogenic bacteria. Okay, this is break point chlorination. Okay, so the addition of chlorine at the break is termed as the break point chlorination because of highly persistent and powerful disinfection processed by free available chlorine. Any type of pathogens present in water destroyed, making disinfection highly effective. Okay, yeah, that's what. If you able to apply chlorine to water at that particular C point or at that particular break point, it will be highly efficient and highly effective. At that time, the chlorine will be highly active. Okay, that adding chlorine at that particular time will be called as the break point chlorination. Okay, guys, I think you understand what is break point chlorination. Okay, so if you don't understand, you can ask me. 104 Varun. Okay, this is about chlorination. Okay, so different, not only addition of chlorine, we are also having different methods of chlorine disinfections. Like addition of chlorine is nothing but chlorination, and addition of ozone, we also can kill the bacteria, that is called as the ozonization. And also by adding lime, we can kill the bacteria. Also by adding silver, iodine, bromine, we can kill the bacteria. And also by passing ultraviolet rays through water, we can also kill the bacteria. Okay, so we will discuss about the remaining methods in next class. Okay, guys, in chlorination, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. potassium permanganate, iodine, bromine, silver, excess light, ultraviolet rays, ozonization. Okay, so we discuss about the remaining methods of disinfection later. Don't worry about this. This is the theory and easiest subject. Okay, but the only thing is that you have to be concentrated. I think from 29th of this month we are having first meet now. Yeah. 29th of this month we have first meet. We have only 3 more weeks time. Within that, now we are discussing about second unit. I will complete within that period. Third unit also. I will give a question bank. You start preparing. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can ask me anytime. In WhatsApp, you can ping me. I will give you a reply. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. If you want anything, also you can contact me. I am there to provide you. Okay, so this is the easiest subject. Completely theory one. Only some 1 or 2 problematic parts will be there. In first unit, the population forecasting. How to estimate the population after 20 years or 30 years. One type of problem is there. And in second unit also, the design in infiltration and in sedimentation tank we have problems. Okay, it means how to design. It means ఒక చిన్న విలేజ్ ఉంటుంది, లేకపోతే ఒక కాలనీ ఉంటుంది. ఆ కాలనీలో ఒక 3000 పీపుల్ ఆర్ లివింగ్. ఓకేనా, సో 3000 పీపుల్కి నువ్వు వాటర్ సప్లై చేస్తున్నావు. 3000 పీపుల్కి నువ్వు సెడిమెంటేషన్ ట్యాంక్ అంటే వాటర్ని సెడిమెంటేషన్ చేయాలి అంటే నీకు ఎంత ట్యాంక్ కావాలి. దట్స్ వాట్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు క్యాల్కులేట్. ఓకేనా, ఓన్లీ విదిన్ 1 or 2 steps we can solve the design problem. That is also too much easy. ఓకేనా, అంటే ఎంత ట్యాంక్ అంటే ఎంత, ఆ ట్యాంక్ లెంగ్త్, వాల్యూమ్, హౌ టు క్యాల్కులేట్ ద వాల్యూమ్, లెంగ్త్ ఇంటూ విడ్త్ ఇంటూ డెప్త్. ఓకేనా, అంటే సెడిమెంటేషన్ ట్యాంక్కి ఎంత లెంగ్త్, ఎంత విడ్త్, ఎంత డెప్త్ ఉండాలి. దట్స్ ఇట్. ఫిల్టరేషన్ ఆల్సో ఒక 3000 మందికి నువ్వు వాటర్ని ఫిల్టరేట్ చేయాలంటే నీకు ఎంత క్వాంటిటీ లేకపోతే ఎంత వాల్యూమ్ ఉన్న ఫిల్టర్ కావాలా, అంటే ఎంత వాల్యూమ్ ఉన్న రెక్టాంగులర్ ఛాంబర్ కావాలి. దట్స్ ఇట్. Per person we will supply 135 liters. Okay, so 2000 persons ఎంత సప్లై చేస్తాం, 2000 into 135. Okay, so that will be the your required volume. That volume we will get in terms of liters. We have to convert that liters into meter cube. Okay, so in meter cube we are getting the volume. Okay, so for 100 meter cube, what is the volume? It means how much length, width, depth should be there. We can manage it. Okay, that's it. If 27 meter cube is the volume, okay, so then 3 into 3 into 3, 3 meters length, 3 meters width, 3 meters depth, then it will be 27. Okay, so like that we have to manipulate the number. It is here in environmental engineering, the design problem means only the number game. We have to manipulate the numbers. Total volume we will get. Total volume is 100 meter cube. That is the standard. That thing we can get. Okay, so for 100 meter cube of volume, how much length, how much depth, how much volume, how much width should be there. That thing we have to manage that number. That's it. Okay, now in next class we will discuss the theory part only, remaining methods of disinfection. Okay, and after that we will discuss some problem. It will be too much easy. The problems also very easy. Okay, guys, you can leave the class. You can join for next class. You can join in a pre-staged concrete class. Okay, so 19 make 50126. If you join at last minute, what can I do? I can't give attendance to 126. Okay, so if you need anything, you can send a message in WhatsApp. 120 19 make 50126. You contact me in WhatsApp. Okay, take care.